regardless of our different opinions on political and social issues, we can all agree that Tory Lanez is trash. Garbage, basura, dermul, refuse. This man is just a waste man. This dude is a waste man. He belong at the dump. So let's dive into that dump and see what we as women can learn from Tory Lanez. Because we don't have to go through a situation to learn from it. So what can we learn from Megan Thee Stallion that we can apply to our own lives when it comes to dealing with people in general? I'm sure that people are going to say, oh, this is a male and female issue. This is a man and woman issue. I think that we can apply it to friendships. We can apply it to relationships. We can apply it with dealing with human beings on a whole. Because this level of toxicity and trashness does not only come in the form of a man. It comes all around. In the different levels, the different shades on the spectrum of gender identity and sexuality. So we shouldn't only just apply this as like, oh, Tory Lanez is a prime example of how men are trash, because, you know, plenty of other people can also be just as trash as Tory Lanez, regardless of their gender identification. So a question you might have, like I myself do, is why is Tory Lanez speaking? Why does he have any room to say anything right now? I do not know. You would think that someone who's accused of a crime, like shooting someone, would probably consult their lawyers, and their lawyers would probably say, keep your mouth shut, don't say anything. But instead of keeping his mouth shut, he decided that, I'm gonna make a whole album, and I'm gonna say all of these things that not only am I gonna deny what happened, I'm gonna make the other person look like an idiot. I don't know what his goal was, but he did neither of that. All it did was just make him look like an absolute dumbass, a dickhead, an absolute dim-witted, stupid ass, dumbass. So I know you're gonna have the idiots who are gonna come and say, well, Megan spoke out, so why can't Tory? Megan is in a different situation. Megan is a victim. Megan was victimized by this person. Usually in any freaking case, if you love Law and Order, like I know a lot of y'all do, you'll know that a victim should say things. A victim has a right to say that they were wronged. The victim was wronged. The victim says her piece and says what she has to say. And then here is the defendant who should shut his mouth unless he's in court. Because the things you say outside of court can end up being used against you, you dumb mother. Instead of keeping his mouth shut and sitting there eating his damn food, he decided that he would come out here, release an album, and try to make Megan look like she was crazy, overreacted, and just a loud ass bitch. That's what he tried to do. But you know what? We can see all the way through the bullshit. Because not only did Tory Lanez attack Megan by saying she's telling a lie, he went on to talk about Kehlani and JoJo, that this man has very little respect for women in general. They just said that they will not have him on their upcoming albums. They took him off the album. And because of that, his response to them responding by taking him off their album individually was that they're disloyal to him. And in JoJo's case, that her album wasn't gonna get any attention in the first place, so why is she taking him off the album like anybody cares? Lanez felt as if JoJo was a nobody, but now that JoJo isn't checking for him and JoJo wants him off her album, he's letting her know that she's a nobody, which is just beyond me that Tory Lanez can think that somebody else is a nobody. Like, who the fuck are you, Tory Lanez? Who are you? He wouldn't respect the fact that even though Kehlani was friends with him before, or she was friendly with him to the point where he claims that he held her child. Like somehow you held a baby And now I can never be mad at you because you committed a crime against someone I know, someone I care about. How does that make any sort of sense, Tory? You're saying that because you held Kehlani's child, you cannot somehow be bad in Kehlani's eyes. You do realize that people against their own family member, their own husband, can say, yeah, you committed a crime. I no longer want anything to do with you. Your actions dictate how someone will perceive you in the future, not necessarily how they'll see you in the past. And you cannot control if someone now see you as a threat or see you as someone that if they associate with you, it will bring down their value in the eyes of the general public. You cannot change those things. So for Tory to somehow blame Kehlani and make it seem like Kehlani stabbed him in the back because she took Megan's side, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, we gloss over a lot of time these celebrities will do something and we throw it in the back of our minds like, oh yeah, they did this, but we've moved on and so on. And we don't use it as a way to say, hey, this person did this thing and it might be a red flag that maybe one day they will escalate that thing. And it will go to a different level of disrespect. So a few years ago, Tory Lanez, lame ass Tory, tried to play the strong black man who protects the black queen character when he tried to pretend as if the producer and directors were trying to have him put a black dark-skinned woman to the back of his music video. Like, he wasn't supposed to be paying her any attention because he got his exotic light-skinned queen or whatever in front of him. So he was supposed to look at the dark-skinned black girl as if, he wasn't interested. And he was supposed to stand out as if he was saying that that's not gonna work out on his set, any set he's on. Then the dark-skinned black woman is gonna get her shine and do her thing. And somehow we were supposed to just eat that all up and ran with it and say, oh, you see, Tory Lanez is protecting us. He care about the black woman. He care about us dark skins. And then the dark-skinned girl came out and said, nah, this was all fake. This was all staged. Tory Lanez didn't give two shits about dark-skinned bitches. Like, it's just what it is. Tory Lanez is pretending. So don't be fooled by what you're seeing. So I say all that to say, Tory Lanez know that he needs to pretend to be someone that he's not in order for the general public to see him in a better light. So the fact that he was in this situation with Meg where he allegedly shot her, allegedly, when the veil is down and they actually do something that gets out there and the public are seeing like the reality, they will try and do everything to tell the general public that actually he didn't do any of that and Megan was just tripping. He knows that he's able to convince people otherwise. When he does something, he's usually able to convince people like, hey, I'm not that person. Here's an example of me being someone else. And the same way he tried to manipulate us a few years ago by saying he stands up for his black queens. It's the same way that he threw Megan out there, shot her, and we're supposed to look at him now like, oh no, he didn't shoot her. Here, he's coming and he's giving us the full story. He's painting himself in a better light. His response to J.R Smith is just telling. It's very telling of the type of person and the type of ideologies that Tory Lanez believes in. Tory Lanez response to J.R Smith is basically saying that J.R Smith is the type of man who will buy things for women and then he wouldn't even get to have sex with them. So you see the kind of transactional relationship that Tory Lanez is used to. Tory Lanez is saying, like, if he buys something for a woman, then they're gonna have to sleep with him, or that's what he expects. So just in his response to J.R. Smith, he tells on himself about the type of person he is. He's someone you can't trust because everything with Tory Lanez is transactional. So when you see the signs over the years, or you see the signs over the months, weeks, or whatever, of a person just showing you that they do everything on a transactional basis. They get to hold your child, so that shows that you have some sort of loyalty to them. Or they buy you things, they respond to you as, me buying you this thing means that you're supposed to give me something in return, or else this transaction isn't working correctly. That is a red flag. Those things are red flags when you see that someone is constantly looking for a transaction. They're constantly looking for, I did this for you, now you did that for me. And I feel like we don't have to go through what Megan went through to recognize the type of person that someone like a Tory Lanez is. My generation like to use the term gaslighting. So not only is this person capable of gaslighting or manipulation, we know that this person has exhibit examples of being trash throughout the time of their existence. The trash behaviors that Tory Lanez have exhibit were a foreshadowing of the type of person that he really is. We should look beyond the things that people say for actual meaning. What are they doing that's maybe a red flag about who they are as a person? We should look at those things instead of just what they're saying that they're doing, because oftentimes people's actions and the things that they say do not line up when they're trying to manipulate you. He's a waste man. His actions depict a waste man, and we don't want waste mans. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up.